You want things to be really simple in your golf swing. We're going to talk about how to have a really simple lead arm motion by what your trail arm does in the golf swing to help you have better impact. When we look at videos that people send in to us, one of the things we see is a lot of times this lead arm will, the lead shoulder will come around way too high. It doesn't maintain. So if the tilt, right? So if I look at that, if I'm standing straight up, kind of like the lead arm is almost like doing this, right? That adds a lot of complexity to the golf swing.
Yeah.
Let's look at just a really good arm motion here. Let's have Nate go in slow motion. Look at the lead arm and look how simple a motion that is of the lead arm. It just goes under the chin, little rotation, and comes back. Now to support this, let's dive into a little more detail. What exactly does the right arm do for that really good motion here? Okay, so again, we're going to keep this really simple. You're straight up in the air, and we've got a golf posture here. As you go back, notice the right elbow bends and the right wrist hinges. Now, what else has the right elbow done? Let's come back here and go a little slower. The right arm has done some rotation, yeah? So this is called external rotation.
Yep.
So Nate's elbow isn't flying out like this, right? It's just a real simple taking your arm and a little external rotation. And look at his wrist, right? What has his wrist done? That's a little hinge. So we have a little upper arm that's rotated and a little right wrist that's hinged. Now let's do that again in slow motion. So upper arm rotation, right wrist hinges. Look how fluid that lead arm is here. And look at the shaft motion, how simple that shaft motion is, okay? So again, your lead arm, rotate hinge, okay? Now let's show that, get some hinge in the hips, so you're a little more like golf posture here, and do that exact same arm motion. So little external rotation of the right arm, elbow is kind of at maybe you feel like a pivot point almost to the right elbow, right? So if I think of my left shoulder and your right elbow, those are working together, right? As you look at your left shoulder, right elbow, that causes a pivot. Okay, go ahead and do that again. You can see how fluid that is. Right, now let's get all the way down to ground level. Same motion. Don't change it just because you have a hinge at the hips. Don't change, right, Nate? People tend to change all the time. Now look at this level, how his, from the down the line, look how his shoulder goes down and around. It doesn't come really, out and around like this. Okay, so this is a really, really common fault that we see people have, is the club comes like this. Okay, now look what's happened to my shoulder and look where my elbow is. Okay, so if I stand up,
let it kind of.
I've got a flying elbow,
Yeah.
and it takes my left shoulder and puts it around like this, as opposed to this.
Yep.
So when I've got golf tilt, there we go. The ugly inside takeaway that is really hard to recover from, right? So if you can just focus on this very simple motion. Right arm rotates, elbow bends, wrist hinges. Everybody can do that. Take your golf. There you go, and there's your swing. So we'll look at a swing from Nate in slow motion. You'll see that at speed and how it makes a shaft motion that's really, really fluid through the impact. So let's watch this swing. Notice how Nate gets that feel of that right wrist hinge, the slight external rotation of the right arm. Of course, the elbow bends, then reverses. So as we look in slow motion, right wrist hinge, rotate the right arm external, then reverse it. We can help you understand if you're doing these things right with our online swing review program. You simply send us a video of your swing. We'll give you detailed feedback. Make sure we give you concise, helpful feedback on your video to make sure you're doing these simple motions the right way. 14-day free trial. Click the link in the description below or in the iCard above.